Iceland. The gateway to the North Atlantic. A strategic lifeline for NATO. And now, it's under siege. In a bold and unexpected move, Soviet forces have landed south of Reykjavik. T-72s now advance relentlessly towards the NATO airbase, Reykjavik's last line of defense. The situation is critical. If the airbase falls, the Soviets will seize control of the skies and sever NATO's lifeline to the North Atlantic. But help is on the way. The USS Nimitz, one of the most powerful carriers in the world, is racing towards Iceland to help provide vital air support. Time, however, is not on their side. Every minute counts. With Soviet armor pushing deeper and NATO forces stretched thin, the fate of Iceland, the control of the North Atlantic, hangs in the balance. The Cold War has gone hot, and Iceland is at the epicenter of the fight for dominance in the North Atlantic. The fight has begun. Hey there, and welcome back to Sea Power. Today, the situation around Reykjavik Air Base on Iceland is dire. This airbase is coming under direct attack from a landing force. We know from the briefing that part of the landing force is already here. The first wave has arrived somewhere towards the south of the airbase. I did create the scenario myself, so this means I sort of know what is going to happen, but there's a lot of RNG involved. There's a lot of random spawns which may or may not happen. So first, let's have a look at the airbase. It is being defended by a couple of Abrams and Bradleys. Now this is a game about naval warfare, so while it does have surface contacts, these things aren't exactly optimized for full play. They do work, however. The airbase itself is capable of launching some interesting flights of aircraft. We have F-15s, we have F-4Js, A-6Es capable of going for all sorts of various strikes. We have A-7s, different types of strikes, including SEAD, so suppression of enemy radar. Or rather, suppression of enemy air defenses. We even have a couple of B-52s. We have an E-2C, and that's the first thing I'm going to launch. Eyes in the sky. We have P-3Cs. We have 24 of those. So with these guys, I can definitely do a lot of anti-submarine warfare. As for the rest, I do want to have an R-5, which is a reconnaissance aircraft. And we have helicopters, SH-2s, capable of ASW and SH-3Fs. Again, loadout, we got ASW. This is armed with sonobuoys and torpedoes, and this is armed with sonobuoys and 4 torpedoes. You can also have them as close air support, which gives them S-8s, which I do believe are rocket pods. Might come in handy against T-72s as they're approaching, but it's not really something I'm really to rely on. Let's have a couple of air-to-air long-range aircraft launched, the Jokers, and we can already start to see a couple of units on the runway. There comes the E-2C. This is not the only assets you'll have during this scenario. You also, over here to the southwest, have Nimitz. Nimitz and her escorts. A guided missile cruiser, 2 frigates, a supply ship, and a destroyer. And far in front of her is the submarine Memphis. Memphis is armed with a couple of harpoons and torpedoes, and she is kind of on station in front of the carrier task force to make sure there are no submarines nearby. Now, once that Hawkeye is airborne, we're going to have a look at exactly what else is out here. Because I need to see what is happening around me. I also need to see what's happening around the aircraft carrier. So let's make sure we do that. I did see your comments on, hey, you're pausing way too much. So this time around, I'm going to try not to pause at all. And just make sure that you just get to watch the action unfold as it happens. Let's also get an S-3A, which is an ASW plane. You can also mount them as attack planes, in which case they get a couple of harpoons. This time around I do want an ASW, because there may or may not be a submarine around. This is one of those random spawns. I created this scenario a couple of days ago, intentionally, so that I, at this point, sort of have forgotten about which assets might be in, and which assets might not be. But again, it is limited RNG. So this is why I'm very excited to see other content creators do go for this plan, do go for this mission. I'm going to go below the layer. The depth over here is 300 feet. And I'm not sure exactly how much of a depth we have. But I think we can go quite a bit faster. I'm going to go ahead 2/3. Situation on our E2C. It should be... Yep, there we go. It's unfolding itself. Wings coming into position. And then we should be good to go. Ordered altitude, 30,000 feet. Normally, I would not activate a radar right above my own airfield, but the situation is pretty critical. I need to know what the situation is right now, and hey, an airfield is not exactly going to move. So in this case, it doesn't really matter, because they know where the airfield is. They're coming for it. I need to have eyes in the sky right now. And thankfully, wow, that was a that was an impressive takeoff. Didn't know they could do that. That animation might need to get worked on a little bit. We're already at 2,000 feet. And we haven't even really cleared much of the runway. Yeah, we just cleared the runway now. We're at almost 3,000 feet. So this guy, very impressive aerial capabilities. Alright, let's have you go over here. This is where we're expecting a second landing group. It's going to be up to you as a player to make sure that that does not happen. Alright, let's activate the air and surface search radar. And oh look. Oh look. We have aircraft in the skies, but they're heading away. We also here have a couple of radar contacts. Does the airbase itself have a radar? It does not. That's interesting. The RA-5C recon aircraft also flying up here. And with this, I intend to just scout out everything. They're agile, so they might just survive the capabilities that whatever the platforms down there and over here are actually posing. But that's not strictly something I can rely on. Over here we have Bear 1, which was just passing the cruiser. And there you can see the carrier task force behind her. There's the carrier. So let's push you to 30,000 feet. And let's have you go south of that carrier task force. Oh, sorry, task force. I do know that there's no carrier. Memphis operating at 325 feet. Very good. We have new contacts. I want you to fly... Yeah, I think 2,000 feet is fine. So you're going to fly like that. And you're going to fly like that. The next is up. The Jokers. This ASF wing. I'm going to have that just kind of patrol. But I can't get too close here because if this has NTR capabilities, I'm going to be in trouble. And these are very nice aircraft to have. I would hate to see them lost. So let's make sure that they survive. As for the rest, the airbase is currently a bit quiet. Whatever's down there, we're definitely going to require a bit of jamming. So let's get a couple of EA6s out there. They also come with a potential seed loadout. Let's have one electronic warfare bird. And let's see, can I arm these guys as seed? Yes, I can. So we're just going to suppress the shit out of all sorts of radars. That's the A7E's job. The A6 can have a ground attack. These are guided bomb units, paveways. We also have anti-ship loadouts and strike loadouts. This is bombs. This is Mark 82 bombs. Again, there's Mark 83. And just attack is a whole bunch of Mark 82s. Not strictly enough to deal with a tank, but the Iron Hand loadout might just work. And we also have cluster bombs on these things. The CBU-100 Rockeyes. So I'd say we launch a flight of these, because they might be doing something useful regarding the capabilities dealing with tanks. So that's the airbase. The R5C is airborne. Currently patrolling just south of the airbase. And I mean just south. We're 10 nautical miles away from the Abrams. And we're just 10 miles or 11 miles away from the airbase. How is my flight happening here? Nimitz has the scout flight up. There we go. Scout 1 is the one that is currently going to be dropping sonobuoys for us. This is my ASW aircraft. They have a lot more capabilities relative to a helicopter because they carry 62 sonobuoys and they have 4 torpedoes aboard. I am, on this scenario, banking on the fact that there's nothing between Nimitz and Memphis. Memphis will have cleared the way. So I'm going to fly over there and start helping out the Memphis in potential ASW ops there. While the Memphis continues on her way northeast. As for Bear, Bear's nicely on the way. Look at that, there's a sunrise. So far, so good. The R5C right here isn't actually detecting anything. So there might not be any threats yet. The A6B flying or driving to position. Here are the A7s. I can prematurely launch the B-52s as well, considering that I will have to take down a couple of Russian ships. And I know they're there. So let's go for anti-ships. The alternative is long range, which gives them 8 Tomahawks, but this gives them 12 harpoons each. So I want to have 4 of those. As for the rest, right now I just want to hold. Look at that. That is a beauty of a sight. That's the Joker flight. Just casually patrolling 36,000 feet. Sometimes we have an A7E that just kind of does something weird. Oh. Hello. Apparently we have a visual from the R5 relative to a tank over there. And there's more. And they're all heading north. Straight for the base. Yep. This is going to be a very, very sizable problem. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I want you to keep an eye on them. I just want you to keep scouting these things out. So we're going to fly a bit of a circular pattern. And once those birds are actually airborne... Oh, we're already coming under fire? You just popped flares from where? Oh, this thing started shooting. There's a surface-to-air missile in the air. I want you to dip down. But they might not listen because they're in missile evasion mode. Thankfully, they are extremely agile aircraft. And are capable of dodging missiles. There we go. I think they might have lost the track. Go to 1,000 feet. As long as you can keep visual on those tanks, or at least a little bit, that'd be great. What, you got another one? Yep, there's another SAN-1 coming up. Great. Can we just have helos hover really low and provide targeting information? I'll take an SH-2F. Or actually, let's go with the SH-3F. Close air support. I'll take 2 flights of 2. B-52s are being brought up to the runway. But before those big boys are airborne, it's going to be a while. Here's the SH-3F. Being brought out of the hangar. And we have the A-7E airborne. We have the E-2C way airborne. And we have the EA-6B, the electronic warfare aircraft, up here as well. Let's have you go to 20,000 feet. I want to start jamming... Holy moly. I want to start jamming the area here. Status on the helicopters. Unfolding rotor blades and preparing for takeoff. B-52s standing by. Another A-7E is preparing to launch. Another A-7E is being launched. Currently retracting its landing gear. And by the looks of it, there's no shortage of targets. So let's get your boss over here. And let's make sure that we get over here. No, not you. No, you can just kind of loiter there, in case they do decide to throw some aircraft into the mix. No, I want you gentlemen. Go to 1,000 feet. Let's try to stay below the radar profile of whatever that is. Oh, it's a cannon. That's... preparing new missiles. Damn it. They're definitely not eager on having this R5 over here, because I'm ruining their element of surprise. So they're really trying to shoot that thing down. It does seem like that missile was not finding the target. Is that a radar-guided missile? Anti-aircraft radio command. It has no guidance. So, what I think might be happening is that this cannon is looking up at the Iceland shore, and sometimes it sees the R5, and sometimes it doesn't. So it can't actually guide the missile in. Maybe that's what's happening. Alright, I want you to engage this, and I want you to engage that. I'm going to try and keep these guys off of us for as long as possible. There's another flight of A7s up. The helos are airborne. And the helos to go over here. I don't know if they're going to get shot down by the machine guns mounted on the tanks. That's possible. There's a lot of tanks out there. They're currently engaging target 7033, and we lost them. Because the R5 is once again out of range. So what are they going to do now? You're gonna just hit last known? There's a ground in front of you. Thank you. Status on the B-52s? Taking off right now. Come in, big bird. Plenty of targets. Off you go. Here comes one of our SH-3s. We have launch against us, really? Oh, this cannon is getting really annoying. Okay, let's start launching another strike from the Nimitz. Because the Nimitz also has her own strike wing. Let's go for A6E with the anti-ship missile loadout. I'll take a couple of flights. No, hold on, that's one flight. I need another flight of 4 and another flight of 3. So we're going to launch the entire A6 wing from the Nimitz. Preparing to strike against, well, whatever this is. There's a Kashin. There's a Grisha. And there's some other large stuff. We haven't really identified it yet. I think the highest priority right now is to deal with this guy. Because they're making everything quite difficult. Can you engage? I don't know. Something. The SH-3s are going to arrive any moment now. But our A7s are having a very hard time trying to find a target. Oh, there's one. Damn it, more SAM launched. We are loaded with cluster bombs, but they appear to be very reluctant to actually use those. Do we have anything that can actually hit these? A6s? A7s? Precision strike. Can we have one of our aircraft laze them? Would that work? So having an A6 with a precision strike? A guided strike? Let's have 2 of those launched. I think that's the last of the B-52s that's currently taken off. Yeah, the B-52's flight is up. Okay, I want you to just stay here. Do we have anything that we can throw against that destroyer that's down there? Yeah, so we can definitely see these. I think using the helos. But again, ground combat in this game is a bit wonky at best. So it's entirely possible that we'll have some weird effects happening here and there. There's another missile. Once again, it fluffed. Here's the A7E strike. This is the Shrike strike. So that is the ones that are capable of going after radiation sources. I did also have an E6 up here somewhere. That's an A6. It's being brought up. Here's the EA6. Okay, let's start jamming these guys. Not the tanks, strictly, but that. I don't think the tanks are really going to care about being jammed. But hopefully, this guy is going to care. And they do have the radar active, so I want to make sure that that is going to get neutralized. Or at least mitigated to some effect. Alright, boys. A7Es. Engage track cannon. I can put them on weapons free, but I have seen them do some really weird things where if they're weapons free, they actually try and dump their entire armament on anything, really. And that's not strictly what I want them to do. Okay, there's one missile airborne. There's a second missile airborne. That means that the other flight, so the wingman, still has missiles. Let's push those against that cannon as well. Because the moment that this guy clears up, we have a little bit more breathing room. That's the plan. As for my helos, the S8 is a rocket pod, right? What? Oh. That's a different loadout. Can we use this at all? Rocket pods against a tank, of course, are not spectacularly useful, but everything's better than just nothing at the moment. Free. We hit a track. We hit a U-roll with an S8. And it doesn't seem to care much. Yeah, with a 20mm? You're doing a gun run? Dude, that's not strictly what I was going for. Target one of these guys with a cluster bomb. This base is so woefully unprepared for what they're about to receive. Okay, you're still up there. Good. Do we have any more IDs? No, we don't. How's the flight of attack wings over here? I'm gonna have these guys stage here. That's ray gun something. Ray gun's one flight. Get over here. Come on. Your whole flight. Start going here. It's gonna take him a couple of minutes to get there. I'm not sure if our missile is still functional or not. Kind of banking on not. Once again, trying to use rocket pods against the T-72. Effects might disappoint. As for those ground attackers, they seem to be doing not much of anything. At least our B-52s are available. Can we use a B-52 against these tanks? We have Mark 83, so we could we could carpet bomb them if you really want to. Hold on. Did this ship turn its radar? It didn't turn its radar off. Okay. Okay, so the first priority, I feel, should be to engage these ground targets. So if I tell this flight to go formation, weapons free, they're going to engage something. Engage this. You're engaging surface target 7017, which is... You're engaging the cannon with your cluster bombs. I don't think so, Sunshine. Because that's very much a one-way trip. See, it doesn't even want to engage this. How is that not possible? It's an anti-surface weapon. It's a rockeye. It's a cluster bomb. I think that this airbase is going to just have to be protected by the Abrams. Do we have anything else? Because I can try to go for bombers, but it's kind of a last resort. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have any kind of air-to-ground missiles. Although I did have these guys with both laser designators. You have weapon away? Oh, something dropped. Just not sure what dropped. Okay, let's tell this flight to go weapons free and see what happens. Because I'm not really counting on my abilities to get these guys to do what I want them to do. And especially with these intermittent T-72s, it's proving very difficult to actually get a good hit. Oh, we lost an Abrams. They're hitting the perimeter here. Okay, I'm going to peel one of these B-52s off. You. Leave the formation. Get over here. I'm going to tell this guy to engage that cannon. Which it should be able to do, because it has plenty of harpoons. It has 12. And I really want this cannon gone. Range is 29 nautical miles, so it's a hop and a skip for an AGM-84. Those things have a range of, what, 65, I think? Yeah, 65 nautical miles, with a minimum range of 3.5. Another Abrams is taking hits. I need to just launch pretty much everything that I have while I still have this airbase. A6E, anti-ship. Just launch the whole flight, everything. I should keep some people busy. You're engaging the surface target. Good. That's one. Come on, are you launching? Yep, you're launching alright. Seems I have the wrong plane selected. This guy still has all of its harpoons. How is that even possible? Oh, it started out with 12, not 8. That's my bad. Okay, let's also give these guys the good news. I have several new radar contacts here. Interesting that we're picking these things up on radar. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, they're about to break through. Weapon away. Okay. So we got 2 missiles for each of those landing ships. I hope that we're going to be able to... What the fuck are you doing? Oh, this is what happens when you get the guys to go weapons free. Brother, get out of there. Because these ships are not strictly happy to see you. Can we hit that Grisha with the rest of the B-52s? Is the Memphis capable of getting that? Memphis does have the harpoons of her own. Oh, that's damage control. Unit reference. Yeah, so we should be able to get those. Let's launch a couple at the cannon, although that does give the position of the Memphis away. I don't like that. Where's the last ray gun flight? Gentlemen, let's go. We're hit. Another Abrams has died. We're flying at 2,000 feet. Go to 20,000. 20,000 feet. Up you go. These missiles should at least give them pause. Where are you going? This is why I don't like weapons free. Because your planes just start suiciding themselves into whatever they feel like. And this is kind of the result. They start taking a whole lot of fire. And I'm lucky so far that it hasn't been missile fire. So it's possible that the cannon over here is out of missiles. At least NTR missiles. But as you can see, they're still bristling with weapons for all the sort of threats. Oh, please get this flight in the air. Or it's because my jammer's up. That's another option. Speaking of, I should also launch jammer from the Nimitz. So let's get your flight deck in order. I'll take 2 separate EA6s. 1, 2. Bradley is taking hits. My Bradleys and Abrams are able to defend themselves. Oh, this is not going well. I got 1 Abrams left. Go to the airbase and try and defend it. I think my AGMs got... Did they get smashed into the ground or something? Oh, maybe they're having issues with sea skimming. Or rather, attempted sea skimming, which they kind of fucked up. Okay, fine. I'm going to keep this B-52 airborne because I still have its bombs. But the rest of that flight, we're going to go here. We're still climbing. Come on, boys. Where's your leader? Take me to your leader. Go towards this area. There's 1 in the air at least. The more of those harpoons I can get airborne, the better. We're still seeing another T-72 here. T-72 seems to be extremely unimpressed. Yeah, this is not going well. I'm not even sure if we knocked out any T-72s. You can see that this guy's definitely driving through. They're almost at the airbase. In fact, they should be able to see it from now. There's aircraft taken off. So yeah, they're very close to the airbase. Okay. Alright, gentlemen, this is where I'm going to leave you at the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to have an actual strike against this surface group and try and prevent whatever of these ships are landing ships to make it to the second wave. Thankfully, they still have a good amount of driving to go. They still have to do, I think, about 140 nautical miles or so. So, at least we detected them early. And that could be our salvation. Yeah, they got 113 plus 22 plus 53. So they got 180 nautical miles. If they're doing 30 knots, that's 6 hours. Thankfully, we should be able to get at least some of the harpoons away from the the B-52s, as well as from the other aircraft that we have up from the carrier. And maybe we can have some other of the A6s launch, but it remains to be seen. I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I look forward to seeing you back for the next part.